Hey everyone! In this video, we're going to be talking about how to fill out your weather data collection form. So once you have this pulled up, your job is to figure out what city do you want to kind of investigate the local weather of. The goal is to figure out trends in local weather so that you can use it to predict weather, to understand weather patterns, and to just be more prepared for understanding climate in general as we go forward. So for this assignment, you're going to pull it up. And the first thing you're going to notice in the title is it says city weather data collection. It also should have your name up there, but the city in parentheses, I actually want you to change it to whatever city you're looking up the weather for. For me, I'm changing it to Barcelona. That's where I decided that I was going to do my research on. Now you might be thinking, Miss Berg, how did you choose this wonderful city to investigate? Well, last week we did a discussion called Where Would You Travel to? You picked one city to look up the local weather for, and that was the city that you were interested in traveling to, assuming money and the coronavirus weren't an issue. So use that city. If you picked Houston, Texas, choose Houston, Texas for this assignment as well. If you chose Auckland, New Zealand, choose it again. Yeah. If you plan on changing whatever city you investigate, now's the time because we're going to be investigating the city for the next 2 weeks. So pick one city. Again, I recommend choosing the one for where would you travel to. That's how I figured out that Barcelona was my city to investigate. Next up is it says student name. That just reminds you whose document it is, and it reminds me when I'm looking at it. So I'm going to type in Samantha Berg because that's my name. For location, this is where I want the actual city and state, or the city and country. So Barcelona is in Spain. So I'm going to put Barcelona, Spain. Believe it or not, there's Barcelonas all over the world. So I need to be specific about what city and what country I'm looking at. If you're looking at a city and state in the United States, you can just put the state. For instance, if you put Houston, Texas, you don't need to put the United States of America. I already know it's in the US. So if it's in the United States, city and state. If it's out of the United States, city and country. Now from there, it's going to ask you to go to wonderground.com. That's Weather Underground. And that's the easiest place to find the data that we're looking for. So by clicking on that link, it's going to open up a page that looks like this. Yeah. So what I pulled up here already is Barcelona. So it won't pull up right away to the city that you want. You want to use the search locations in the upper right-hand corner. And this is, again, where you want to be careful. When I first type in Barcelona, I want to let it autofill because if I just hit enter from there, it could give me a wide variety of Barcelonas. There's one in Brazil. There's one in the Philippines. There's one in Italy. I need to be careful. So I'm going to let it autofill and I'm going to choose the one that I actually want. And that's the one that is pulled up right here. This is the airport in Barcelona. So I have it pulled up. I'm ready to go. And this is all of my current conditions. I can see the high for the day is 63. This is today, by the way. The low for the day is 50. The current temperature is 62. Feels like 62 as well. I've got 12 mile an hour wind in the north. So that means it's coming from the north. And the conditions are fair. That means it's clearing up, maybe a cloud here or there. And then it tells me all of the other current information. Now, when you first start this assignment, we're not looking for current conditions. You're going to find that, oh, we're trying to get data from all the way back on April 21st and 22nd and so on. So by going to this page, I can't actually use the data that's on this main page yet. We will get down to current conditions, but right now we're looking more at the history of things. And that's what we're going to choose. So you can look at these tabs up here, hourly, 10-day, calendar. We're going to pick history. This is what we need. We need the historical data of this location. Now it's going to load and load. And boom, it's going to load for us. If it says summary, no data recorded, that just means it needs more time to load. So it's okay. Just take a deep breath. Let it do its work. So this right now says May 3rd, 2021. Now that is the date today that I'm recording this video, but it's not the date we're looking for. So I actually want to select April. And then I want to select the 21st because that is the first day that we're looking for. So it's April 21st. So after I select those days, oh, nothing changed. Well, that's because I have to hit view. So once you hit view, It's going to do its thing. It's going to load. It's taking its time because it's finding you the right data. Yeah. And the cool thing about Weather Underground is it automatically generates graphs for you. So I can look and see how the weather changed throughout the day at this location, which is pretty neat. I can look at how the temperature ranged. Oh no, this is April 3rd. This isn't April 21st. It's a good thing I double checked that title because that would have given me the wrong data and that wouldn't be cool. So I'm actually going to change this and make sure it actually says 21 and I'm going to hit view again. Accidents happen. Computers, am I right? Probably human error on that part. So the 21st is loading. Oh, and that looks a little bit different. So you can see throughout the day, there was 54 was the low, 59 was the high. That's only a 5-degree change throughout the entire day, which is, in my opinion, pretty impressive. So it'll tell you what the high was, the low was, and it'll have how the wind changed throughout the day. So if I know the highest temperature is 59 and the lowest temperature was 54, I can type that into my document. So I've got 59 for the high and 54 for the low. Now you'll notice I don't put degrees or Fahrenheit in these boxes, and that's totally fine. Remember, we put our units in our column titles. That way we don't have to put it in the data table itself. So 59 and 54, that's all I want. You do not want any units in there. We only want numbers. Otherwise, it's going to mess us up further along. So I got my high. I got my low. Let's go back to the web page. All right, now if I keep scrolling down, ooh, it shows me how the wind changed throughout the day. That's great to know for me as like a runner and a biker. I don't like biking in the wind. It just makes things a lot harder than it needs to be. So if I was planning out my day, I would try to go for my bike ride between 9 and 10 because it gets a little windy in the afternoon. Just a heads up, one way to use this information. So if I keep scrolling down, it gives me my summary for the day. It has the high temperature, the low temperature, which I already got, but here it is confirmed. It has the dew point and the wind speed and the sea level pressure, but it doesn't have everything that I'm looking for. So here's what the instructions say. If you miss a day, you can fill in at the top for later. For cloud cover and humidity, scroll down to the bottom of the screen and type in the cloud cover at noon each day. So we're actually going to use that noon every time. So instead of using this summary section, I'm going to continue to scroll down and I'm going to look at the daily observations. Now, right away, this is midnight. 12 a.m. is midnight. That's not what I want. I actually want noon. We want to look at what the average conditions were for the day. So I'm going to drag my mouse around it. This is just easier for me to find it and highlight that noon spot. Again, this just makes it easier for me to scroll up and see the column titles to make sure I'm getting the right data. So this 59 degrees is the current temperature at noon. I actually don't need that, but I do need the dew point and the humidity. So I'm going to scroll back down and I can see the ones I highlighted. 48 degrees Fahrenheit is the dew point and 67% is the humidity. So I'm going to plug that into my wonderful data table. 67. Again, notice I'm not putting degrees Fahrenheit or percent because I don't want those. Those are already in my column titles. I don't need them here. For pressure in inches, in the United States, we measure pressure in inches, but we're like the only country that does it. Every other country measures it in millibars. So what I've done in our data table is we can take this 29.92 inches, and for us, pressure is going to be measured in inches. So I take 29.92 and I type it in my pressure box, 29.92. Now these decimal points are super important because the real pressure number we want to keep an eye on is millibars. In the meteorological community, that's weather people, we measure in millibars. It's a much more sensitive measurement. So this 29.92, I can't round that. I need those decimal points. And when I hit enter, it'll actually calculate the millibars for me. I put in that equation so that you don't have to calculate that yourselves. You're welcome. Next thing we'll do is we'll measure precipitation in inches. And so if I go back here, oh, precipitation was 0. Look at that. That's super easy to put in there. So it's 0. Again, if there were decimal points, I would want you to put them in there, but we don't need them if it's actually 0. The last three that we need is wind speed, wind direction, and cloud cover. So wind speed, I want to look exactly at noon. I'm going to keep going in this one box or at this noon part of the data table. I'm going to look at the wind direction. That's what wind is, and wind speed. So I'm going to scroll back down. I've got my wind direction is east-northeast, and my wind speed is 12 miles per hour. So my wind speed was 12 miles per hour. Again, I don't need my miles per hour. It's already in the title. And my wind direction was east-northeast. Look at us go. We're almost done. And the last thing is whether or not it's cloudy. And that'll tell me my cloud conditions on the far right. It's partly cloudy at this time of day. So I type in partly cloudy. And just like that, we have all the information we need for the 21st. Now, this will get a lot faster the more you get used to it and when you know where you need to look. We're going to be analyzing this data in a couple weeks. So try to fill in all of these days. It's going to make life a lot faster when we actually go to analyze the data, if you already have it. When you're done with the 21st, you probably are thinking, Ms. Berg, how do I find the 22nd? Well, you scroll all the way to the top and you just choose April 22nd. And then don't forget to hit view. Then that should pull up the data. So that's how you fill out this assignment. If you have any questions, please ask me. It's better to ask sooner rather than later. I know this assignment isn't due until May 16th, but rewatch the video if you get stuck. Ask me if you get stuck. If your city isn't popping up or you're not able to find the data for it, let me know right away so I can help you. Good luck, everybody. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.